the Camino experience home. Anyone tried that? It's tricky, right? You spend all this time in the liminal space of the Camino, in this alternative world where strangers are kind, people are good, and making connections is easy and fun. You walk yourself into a stronger, braver version of yourself, and you discover you like that person. You dial into the simplicity of spending your day at the pace of walking, carrying only what you need, and listening to the messages from your body about what it needs and how to care for it. You laugh, you cry, you celebrate, and you grieve. And you do it all with a couple dozen people who have the same purpose as you, to walk day by day and eventually reach Santiago de Compostela, Fisterra, or Muxia. You do all that, and then you have to return home. Hi, this is Nancy, and I've been in your boots many times. I've felt that hard landing when I've returned home, filled with joy and the peaceful quiet in my mind from days of listening to the tap, tap, tap of trekking poles and the crunch of the trail beneath my boots. It's hard, isn't it, to transition from the Camino back to everyday life? We do it, but many of us don't like it. Many of us flounder, struggle, and suffer. There has to be a better way. In this episode of the podcast, I will be wrapping up the 4-part challenge I've been sharing with you over the past week. The challenge is from our new pilgrim community, La Terraza, where we have been having conversations about finding and understanding the lessons of the Camino experience. We've been having some wonderful conversations inside the community, and hopefully you too have been following along with this challenge and discovering some of the gifts of your pilgrimage. A number of people have joined La Terraza this week, and I want to extend one final invitation to you to join before registration closes at midnight Pacific Time on Saturday, August 23rd. This is the last chance to be a part of this community until registration opens again in late October. If you have already walked one of the Camino routes, this is for you. If you are on the Camino now or will be walking in September and October this year, the timing will be perfect for you to jump in when you get back home. And when you do, you are going to find the support you need to understand what you experienced, uncover the gifts and lessons of your pilgrimage, and bring the experience home so you can carry it into whatever you do next. You will be able to bring the spirit and the magic of the Camino into your family, circles of friends, and communities. If you want to be sure to catch that next enrollment period, stay tuned to the podcast over the next couple of months. And you can also join my email list by going to thecaminoexperience.com/challenge. That link is in the show notes. Now, as I said, we have been working through a 4-part challenge inside the community, and I've been sharing the exact content here on the podcast. So today I have the final part of the challenge for you. The topic is surprise and serendipity, and I think you're going to enjoy revisiting those delightful elements of your Camino. Before I get to that, let me be sure to tell you how to join us in La Terraza. You can do that by going to my website, thecaminoexperience.com/La Terraza. That's LATERRAZA. And that link is in the show notes. And a quick reminder, we have options for you. If you want to take advantage of everything going on in the community, the challenges, the live events, guest speakers and workshops, the online course, and perhaps most important, the connections with other pilgrims who are also discovering and sharing the gifts of their pilgrimages, you can jump in with the All Access Plan. That plan is like signing up for an in-depth group coaching program for only $27 a month or $297 for a year. If your budget is already a bit stretched, but you want to get the most out of your Camino experience, you may want to check out the course-only plan, which gives you access to what I'm calling the mini self-paced retreat program. This plan gives you a multi-step process for bringing the Camino home through audio sessions and prompts for journaling and reflection, and a new module is added every month. You can also tap into some of the conversations going on in the community. For just $7 a month or $77 a year, you can explore and discover the gifts of your pilgrimage while also connecting with other pilgrims who truly get what you are going through. Midnight on the west coast of the U.S. on Saturday, August 23rd. That's the last chance to join us for this round. I hope to see you inside. And if not, or if not now, I hope you've enjoyed this challenge and it has helped you discover what the Camino was all about for you. True story, the challenge is giving you only the tip of the iceberg. The rest is inside La Terraza. Now, let's get to all those surprises and serendipity. Welcome to week 4 of our challenge, Surprise and Serendipity. Over the last 3 weeks, we've explored the courage it took to say yes to the Camino, the belonging we discovered in connection, and the ways loss and letting go shaped our journeys. This week, we lighten things up by looking at the unexpected, the surprises that delighted us, and the serendipitous moments that we call Camino magic. Surprise is complicated. Some of us love it, and others resist it. We try to prepare to avoid the bad surprises, and we hope for the good ones. The Camino had its own way of surprising us, and in those moments, we often found joy, meaning, and yes, a little magic. You may not remember this, but way back when you were getting ready to leave home to go walk the Camino, you may have been experiencing a wild mix of emotions. Most pilgrims say they are excited for their pilgrimage, obviously, but when you dig deeper, there is also a lot of nervousness, maybe even fear. Why is that? Well, it may have something to do with our love or not love of surprises. We spend much of our lives sheltered in the comfort of our at-home lives, with predictability as our constant companion. That's not to say that life for you is easy or stress-free, but when you went to walk the Camino, you took things to a whole other level. Some people love surprises and the thrill of the unknown. Others resist it, preferring predictability and control. This is one reason why some pilgrims map out their daily stages and book all their accommodations in advance. Others just show up, start walking, and see what happens. Before the Camino, most of us spent a fair amount of time planning and preparing, finding the right boots, backpack, and rain gear. There was a sense that we needed to get those things right before we left home, or there would be dire consequences. Planning provided a bit of a safety net, or a way to exercise some control over a journey we sensed was completely unknowable. We each have our own set point for safety, security, and fraternizing with the unknown. And in general, we could probably agree that most people don't mind good surprises, but aren't so crazy about bad surprises. By preparing, we were attempting to minimize some of the risk, to make some of the journey predictable and less intimidating. Yet, no matter how much we prepared, a lot or a little, we still encountered surprises. Some we liked, some we didn't. Did you have any bad surprises on the Camino? Did you take a hard fall or get sick and lose days or weeks on the trail? Or worse, did you have to go home early and not finish in Santiago? Or maybe there were smaller bad surprises, like arriving to a sold-out albergue after an extra-long stage and having to upgrade to an expensive hotel that was way outside the budget. Or discovering you had left a critical item in the last town. Or missing the once daily bus that goes between two small towns in the middle of the meseta. Discovering the captain of the Olympic snoring team is in the bunk next to yours. Arriving into town just minutes after the supermarket closed for the afternoon. The question is, what did these surprises have in store for us? If we look back at what it was like to be on the Camino, you might recall the rhythm and routines of each walking day. Every day was essentially the same. We got up early, packed up, and walked to our destination for the day, taking breaks along the way when we needed. When we arrived, we checked into our accommodation, unpacked, showered, did laundry, hung out, ate a meal, and then went to bed. The next day, same thing. The rhythm of walking had its own message, step by step, with the same cadence for hours at a time. The tap, tap, tap of trekking poles, the crunch of the trail under your feet. Maybe it was exactly this rhythm and routine that set the stage for surprises to sneak in, and more importantly, for us to notice them. The Camino also brought us new sights, sounds, smells, and tastes every day. We saw things we don't typically see at home, things we named Camino magic. You walked through charming villages made up of old buildings that caught the light just so. You stumbled upon a donativo food stand when you were out of both snacks and water. And you got the coolest sayo from the random guy with a table set up on the side of the trail. You turned around at exactly the right time to catch the sun peeking through the mist. Or you caught a rainbow after a long walk in a storm. You turned a corner as a kitten crossed the path, or a horse reached its head over the fence to say hello. Did someone offer you food or water right after you realized you were out, hours away from the next town? Did an interpreter show up at the moment you needed to understand some important instruction from your albergue host? Did you arrive at a church just moments after the local priest opened the doors for the morning? Did you walk into town right as a merry band of costume musicians came around the corner playing at full volume despite there seeming to be no other celebration going on? Did you randomly select an albergue only to discover it was that albergue, the one where the nuns sing or the host ceremoniously washes your feet after dinner? What did you see and experience on the Camino that you had never seen or experienced at home that felt like a beautiful surprise orchestrated just for you? The Camino took us back to basics, to small town friendliness and the simplicity of life lived at the pace of walking. At that slower pace, we made surprising connections that seemed perfectly timed to uplift and delight us and remind us that people are good. We said that the Camino provides, but could we also say that life provides? I mean, what is it that was providing? What is the most unexpected moment of joy or delight you experienced on your Camino? What's one Camino magic story you love to tell? We talk about these surprises as if they are only available on the Camino, and that may be true to an extent, but they point to a greater force at work, something called serendipity. While a surprise is usually something we didn't expect, and it has the power to either delight or distress us, serendipity is something more. Serendipity is when that surprise carries meaning, when it feels like the right thing showed up at just the right time. On a pilgrimage like the Camino, serendipity might look like meeting the right person at the right time or finding a message on a trail marker. It may be stumbling upon a place that feels like it was meant for you, or that you had been there before even though you hadn't. And curiously, these moments often arrived when you needed them most, when you were tired, questioning, or unsure. Serendipity reminded us that the journey wasn't only physical, it was also mystical and relational. The physical path may have been marked by kilometers, blisters, and daily stages, but the real magic often arrived in the unplanned moments, as when a stranger fell into step beside you and became a lifelong friend, or when a locked door prompted you to talk to a local woman who invited you in for a coffee. It could have been a conversation, a kindness, or even a detour, revealing meaning far beyond coincidence. These moments remind us that something connects us to each other and to a sense of mystery and magic that feels almost sacred. If you've listened to the module on liminality and comunitas from the Bringing the Camino Home course, you may remember that one of the reasons things feel magical on the Camino is because pilgrims are traversing the liminal space between who they were before the pilgrimage and who they are to become because of it. In the shared liminal space, everyone is more open. That gives the impression that coincidences aren't random. Instead, they are both regular and magical. Stories ripple out and overlap, and one pilgrim's chance discovery may spark another's epiphany. These insights become part of the shared narrative of the Camino experience, as they are interwoven within the comunitas of the trail. We may have been surprised to discover that in this sacred container, moments of serendipity had the power to transform grief, uncertainty, and loneliness into wonder and connection. Serendipity on the Camino had the power to shift our perspective. Try this. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What might this have been offering me?" These questions remind us that the Camino and life can be trusted to provide not just everyday surprises, but meaningful ones. What if you were to live your life with an attitude of expectancy, as if serendipity was always only a moment away? What if surprises aren't necessarily good or bad, but instead they are opportunities? What would happen if you allowed these moments to teach you to expect wonder around the next corner, to delight in people and places as they are, not as we wish them to be, and to let joy be part of our daily lives? Surprise doesn't end with the Camino. We can cultivate it daily. What if the gift of the Camino was to train us to notice these surprises, to see beauty and things we might overlook at home? What if the lesson is more than the Camino provides? What if the lesson is to trust that life, God, provides at all times and in all things? Here are some things you can do at home to see things with new eyes and invite in serendipity. Spend some time remembering what made you smile on the Camino. Spend more time outdoors. Talk to strangers. Take a different route, whether walking or driving. Slow down and notice the small details around you, and then linger to let that moment last. Say yes to unexpected invitations or something you'd usually decline. Practice gratitude for small, ordinary delights. And the last one, go a whole day without a detailed plan. As we close this week of the challenge, and then soon this month of mining the lessons of the Camino, remember this: the Camino showed us that life doesn't always go according to plan, but it often goes better than we could have imagined. If you look back over our themes for this month, boldness and bravery, belonging and connection, loss and letting go, where can you find the surprises that led to the biggest gifts of your pilgrimage? Consider that every surprise, whether inconvenient or delightful, was an invitation. Some stretched us, some humbled us, and some lifted us with wonder. Together, they gave us the story of our Camino, full of moments we could never have scheduled or prepared for. The real gift is knowing that serendipity isn't just for the Camino. It's for everyday life. When we slow down, stay open, and hold our plans lightly, we begin to notice small surprises everywhere. In a conversation with a stranger, a ray of light at the right moment, or a kindness we didn't expect. So I invite you to reconnect with your pilgrim identity. Expect wonder, be open to surprise, and trust that life provides, just as the Camino always did. Where will you find serendipity this week? What small surprises can you create for the people in your life? Thank you for joining me on this journey.